Victor Brooks, and welcome back to the Victor Brooks Show Facebook Live Quarantine Series. And you know, it's such an honor and pleasure to come with you every Sunday at 1:00 p.m. Pacific Coast time to just share some positivity, to share some smiles, some good vibes, you know, especially now during all of this craziness out here right now, the heaviness of it all. That I always say that we're never trying to negate or act like it's not there. You know, we know that it's affecting all of us around the world right now, but it's always good to just step back, maybe even turn the news off sometime, you know, pick up that inspirational reading, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, a good novel, whatever it is, whatever your belief or whatever brings you that spiritual joy. Maybe it's time to kind of connect with that. And that's why we are so happy. And it's an honor for myself and my co-producers, Christopher Brooks, Julie McKnight, and the incredible Wendy Vaughn, that you take your time, you know, to come every Sunday or as many Sundays as you can to just sit back a while and hear some inspirational stories of our guests, and hear their journeys and what life has given them. Even in sometimes we've heard what life has taken away from them. But also it's all wrapped up in a bow of positivity, y'all, you know? And that's what it's all about for us. And you know what? Thank you, Wendy, my watch party. And please, you all go ahead and start yours too. Start your watch party so that we can kind of just, you know, spread the message, spread the word, spread the positivity to as many people as we can, because that's all we're trying to do, you know. As I always say, we're dealing with these two viruses, and I'm going to say that every time at the beginning of our shows, our episodes. Our viruses of the corona, COVID-19, and the virus of racism, which has been with us generationally throughout, especially here in the US of A. And I much respect to our first responders, our medical teams, who've been there since the beginning for that first virus of corona, who are doing what they can do to save lives or make it better in healing ways for those who are affected directly with COVID-19. Our truck drivers, our grocery store workers, you know, our sanitation workers, our teachers. Teachers are back doing it, as well as, and if the teachers are there, our students are there, our babies are there, learning this new way of education, you know, and it's a twist for them as well. We can't forget that our children sometimes they adapt a lot better than we do as adults, you know, and but they're learning a different thing. And your parents, thank you so much for what you're doing, taking your time to learn this new way. Wendy and I were talking, we're both in education. I feel it's such a blessing of being able to interact with my students in the special ed department for the Santa Monica School District. They feed my soul, and one of my hopes every day is to give something back to them as well. So thank you all. You know, today is a special day because this month is a special month in a lot of different ways. Number one, it is the month that is focusing on that negative reality of life, domestic violence, okay? And, you know, we a lot of times we were wondering, you know, said, well, like when we had Dr. Brown on a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Milton Brown, the genius of his scientific positivity of helping, you know, eradicate the COVID as much as possible. And then he came on and educated us on COVID-19. You know, he gave us the details of what it is, what it's not. And, you know, in the emails that I got, a lot of you understood and agreed that the positiveness is in the message, the positiveness that was given to us by the end of that episode, the education that was given to us, the information, the reality that was given to us through Dr. Brown's episode Oh man, it touched so many of us. It helped so many of us. It was a blessing to so many of us. And that's what we're going to do today as well. We're going to shed light on this, I'm going to say, other virus of domestic violence. You dig? We have an incredible guest today that when you get into her journey, when we start this conversation with Judge Patricia Patty Titus, who I have so much respect for, you'll understand what I'm saying. You know, we'll get into the book that she's written. We'll get into the conversation of, yes, even with domestic violence, there's a positive thread that can be learned as long as we take it to heart. Before we get into this, because I can't wait to get into it, Joe. I really can't. And since the promos have gone up with Judge Titus joining us, the response that I've been getting, the anticipation that's been coming, has been fantastic. It's been positively powerful for me, you know. And along with the October being the focus of Domestic Violence Month, here at the Victor Brooks Show, we're dedicating this month to the respect of our women. This is Respect for Our Women Month for the Victor Brooks Show. You know, it's just in my DNA. The respect that I have for our women runs deep with me. You know, I'm raised by a strong mother. My grandmothers, it's been a blessing to have those influences in my life. Married to an incredible woman herself, which is an incredible mother to our sons. The woman plays a part in our role in life day to day that is priceless. It could not exist without our women. And this month is dedicated to these powerful, talented women that are around us every single day. Melba Moore will be with us this month. Blanche Paul, the wife of Billy Paul, the widow of Billy Paul, will be with us this month. And we have a special guest at the end of the month. We're actually going to hold that one when that guest joins Dr. Jean and I at the end of the month. But we're going to bring on another incredible woman, Sister Wendy Vaughn. If you join us, because we have to do those shout outs today, those positive shout outs, Wendy.
Absolutely.
Hey, hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, too blessed to be stressed. How you doing?
I am wonderful. So good to see you. I didn't get a chance to be with you last week, but I caught
Yeah.
your show. I was like, go ahead, Uncle Vic. You over there doing your own engineering.
And you know, I try. You taught me well. You know, I learned those much needed details. You know that we have. But as always, you look dynamite, sister, and that
Thank
smile is
you.
lighting up the screen and touching so many people out here.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I'm just giving a little bit of what we all get from you every week. So thank you so much. I'm out here coming to you live from Vegas this Sunday, and boy, it's been a wonderful time. Still socially distanced and everything, masked up when we're out of here, but just good to get out of them four walls. So that's a huge burst of positivity.
That's right. Got to get out the walls sometime. That's right. So who do we have? I see we have lining up one of our past guests, Brother Haywood Galbraith. Haywood, my brother. His fantastic interview and episode. We have George Thornton. Thank you, George. Anthony Wiggum, one of my favorite. Girl, you need to hear Anthony Wiggum sing his songs. That brother there, I grew up listening to Anthony Wiggum. That's right.
Oh my
Ted
goodness.
Rivers, thank you so much, Ted. Who's on your side, Winnie?
Well, we have, of course, Mom, Miss Wanda Vaughn, and Wayne Vaughn. They're both back in Glendale already, but they send their love. They said dad's positivity is small, tall, and all. And for those of y'all that play craps.
Hey, the power of positivity, be surprised. It'll help a lot with that energy.
Hey, you can use positivity on the numbers. Okay, but okay, that's a whole other thing. And then, I have a couple of folks, the DJ Johnny Rosado, he's on with us from out in the East Coast. We got Cassandra D. We got G.I. Blue Dixon. We got the fabulous Wendy Vaughn from Raise It Up Y.
Come on now.
Another positivity shout. She
Yes.
just sent us this morning her consideration for the Grammys for her EP project. That
Go ahead, Diane.
Oh, heck yeah. So I'm gonna find out how we can vote, because I don't know if you have to be a registered member with the Grammys to do so, but that was so cool. So
oh man, let's shoot. Hey, Positivity Posse, let's just rain YN down with this positivity that this is going to be more than a consideration, because YN's message through her music, through her poetry, through her writings, through her classes is what we need right now. Yeah. So when you talk about consideration for Grammy, come on, this is what it's about.
Yes.
So
yes, thank you so much, Uncle Big Boys. It's been really good.
That's right. Well, thank you, Wendy. We're going to get into this episode, and much love, and thank you again for everything that you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. See you soon.
All right now. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, oh man, you know, I want to say again, it's a blessing, man, to be able to pull away from things of life right now and just smile and laugh, you know, even if it's just for this hour, you know, but I'm pretty sure it happens throughout the day. We can't get away from negativity. We can't get away from the hardships of life. That's life. You know, we're not denying that, but we're also saying that we're going to fuel that positive flame as much as we can and every time we can. Let me read this to you. Last night I finished some of the book. Well, actually finished the book, read some more until I finished the book of our guest today, Judge Patricia Titus. She has an incredible book here called Friends for Life: 7 Keys to Supporting Loved Ones Experiencing Domestic Violence. Now, she used friends as an acronym. So there's 7, of course, being 7 letters, 7 keys. And she broke down each letter into an educational tool, as well as information that can give us what we need, can give those who are dealing with domestic violence firsthand a further insight into what can be done, what needs to be done, a help tool, so to speak. And then after I put it down, I said, you know what, just the fact that we have a book by someone as incredible as Judge Titus, who, as you hear her journey, who knows her craft, this is what she does. To be able to have that information given to us, that's a positive. Come on now. And then I just sat down, I said, I just want to write, and I want to share it with my positivity posse. Where do we find the positivity? The positivity is the fact that we have this information available to us. Being able to hear the details that are presented to us of a certain topic by credible individuals is a positive in itself. The positivity is simply in the fact that we have credible individuals available to us to give us a positive counter perspective to consider. Knowing afterwards that we have just been able to hear another, and oftentimes a more positive reality to a negative situation. Just like positivity, negative can blow your mind by changing your mind. Because one of the powers of negativity is being able to convince us that our negative situations are the only reality, eventually erasing our positive hopes, erasing the hope of a positive outcome, erasing the reality that there is truly another way to look at this situation and make a change. If we allow negativity to control, then negativity wins. Game over. Negativity is no joke, y'all. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know, especially when it comes to our day-to-day life and acceptances of that life. As long as we are living and breathing on this life, we are going to have negative situations arise on a daily basis. But we can't forget the power of counting all those positive situations with those same 24 hours. That's the protection. That's the medicine. For example, this month is dedicated to the awareness of domestic violence. Without the positivity of hope, the victim oftentimes finds themselves submitting to the abuser's tactics and accepting that this is life. This is the life I must live, or that it's just not that bad. Eventually accepting the negative energy and tactics of the abuser as a norm or accepted way of life. I call these negative items the negative nouns. The person, place, or things that is holding us to a life of negative energy and acceptance of that life by way of physical, mental, emotional, or verbal abuse or disrespect. We are given positive hope and direction. We were given positive hope and direction when Dr. Milton Brown came to relate to the COVID epidemic. We were also given the positive hope and direction from Dr. Jean Wright, along with Dave and Marla Thomas, as relates to mental illness. And today, Judge Patty Titus gives us her positive hope and direction for the topic of domestic violence. Negativity is powerful, and it's a reality of life. But make no mistake about it, positivity posse. Positivity is just as powerful. And it feels a whole lot better to us, you know? I consider positive hope a true reality and a true blessing. That's right. Oh yeah, I know you feel me. I see the comments coming up. You know, and when I was writing that, I said, you know, there's so many of us who understand and feel just that. And with no further ado, because I cannot wait to bring Judge Titus on, let me give you a little insight here. 20 years ago, the people confirmed that Patricia J. Titus was the right choice for justice and elected her judge of the Superior Court of California for the County of Los Angeles. With Exodus 18:21 as her foundation, Judge Titus's campaign was set apart from its inception. Because of her character, integrity, professional ability, and legacy of community involvement, her candidacy garnered endorsements from a broad cross-section of national, state, and local elected officials, pastors, community leaders, judges, and attorneys. Right on. Since February 2009, Judge Titus has been assigned to the Inglewood Superior Court, where she hears requests for domestic violence and civil harassment restraining orders and presides over the drug court. In honor of her 20th year as a judge and as a community service representative, she has published the book, this one here I just read last night that inspired the little writing I just gave, Friends for Life, 7 Keys to Supporting Loved Ones Experiencing Domestic Violence. Using the word friends as an acronym, Judge Titus educates, enlightens, and empowers the reader by providing an easy-to-follow guide on how to support the people experiencing domestic abuse in their lives. Judge Titus served as a judicial advisor for the California Legislative Black Caucus, y'all, Black History Exhibit. This exhibit entitled "And Justice for All" acknowledged and celebrated the 70th anniversary of the appointment of the first African-American Superior Court judge that presided over a California courtroom, as well as commemorated the 50th anniversary of the appointment of the first African-American appellate court justice. Judge Titus is a frequent participant in career days held at our local public and private schools and enjoys being in the position of giving the youth a positive view of the courts and the American system of justice. A positive view of the courts, it's there. She has served as a judge for the Watts Community Teen Court program designed to divert juvenile offenders from a life of crime, another positivity, which is chronicled on youtube.com under Teen Court. and has hosted students of all ages in her courtroom. Prior to her election, she enjoyed a 15-year career as a criminal prosecutor with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. While in the DA's office, check this out, Judge Titus wrote the first draft of legislation now known as the Safety Surrendered Baby Law. Under this legislation, within 72 hours of a birth, a mother may surrender her newborn child confidentially at an emergency room or fire station without fear of prosecution for child endangerment or abandonment. Judge Titus is a charter life member of the Association of African American California Judicial Officers, the California Association of Black Lawyers, Black Women Lawyers Association of Los Angeles, and the John Langston Bar Association. She's a member of the American Bar Association Judicial, I'm giving it to you all, Judicial Council, California Judges Association, National Bar Association, Judicial Council, and the National Association of Women Judges. Judge Titus is one of the judges featured in the book entitled Black Judges in America, published by the National Bar Association, and one of the featured authors in Volume 2 of the American Bar Association's publication, Dear Sisters, Dear Daughters, which provides advice and wisdom to women embarking upon careers in the legal profession. She is also registered parliamentarian and a member of the National Association of Parliamentarians and a member of Toastmasters International with the designation of Distinguished Toastmaster. And on that note, it is my honor to bring to you our Positivity Posse, who's been a Charter Positivity Posse member since we started, the one and only Judge Patricia Patty Titus. Are you on camera with us there?
Good afternoon. How you doing, Vic? Thank you so much for inviting me to the Positivity Posse.
It is our honor, Judge. It is our honor. And already the people are lining up, much respect. We got a couple of right-on sisters. You know, what is your positivity, Judge Patty? What's your positivity that carries you through?
Well, my positivity, of course, comes from being a child of God. Everything I am, everything I hope to be is because God called me out of darkness and into his marvelous light and gave me the parents that I have, Jody Titus and King H. Titus Jr. My mother passed away 5 years ago, but my dad is going strong. He'll be 92 on October 26th.
Fantastic.
Titus Jr. So I am definitely blessed to be a blessing, and I count it a privilege that God trusted me enough to make me his judge. I ran on the word of God, and I continue to live by the word of God and how I deal with people when they have to come to the court.
That's right. And you know what? Let me ask you this. We read in the bio where you took the Bible text. What made you pick that specific text as a, I can say as part of your running campaign? What made that, why was that so powerful to you?
Well, anything that God calls you to do, he always confirms it with his word. And so he set forth criteria for judges. And I felt that I met that criteria and wanted to assist like-minded people. You know, you need a variety of judges on the bench. So why not have someone that understands the word of God, the letter of the law, and the spirit of the law? So sometimes, you know, Bobo did wrong, but Bobo needs some grace. And so you're praying and you hope the person who's making the decision will hear those prayers and perhaps give Bobo some grace this last time.
Come on, Bobo. Bobo needs some help. I've been a Bobo in my life. So many who've been watching this have been a Bobo, and we have some Boboettes that are watching. You know, so we, like Dr. G says, we all just trying to make it. So to know, and lady, and you see Positivity Posse, just that, and we just started. We're talking about in court, having to come to court, but still have a positiveness that there we have someone like Judge Titus who has that understanding of grace when needed. You know, that's a power of positivity.
And also just dealing with the behavior, but trying to leave the person intact, but you deal with the behavior.
Break that down for us, Judge Titus. What do you mean?
Well, if someone has done wrong, made a mistake, committed a crime, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad or evil person. So you deal with the behavior. You did X, here's consequences for X, but you don't get into casting aspersions or allowing the other side to call names. Okay. You're just dealing with the behavior.
Right on, right on. In much respect. And you know what? As we know, this month, our show, we're dedicating it to our respect for our women. And knowing, and it's an honor to have you as our first guest for this month with that moniker of our month. But you being considered a role model and I know you do a lot of interactions with the community, with the young people at the schools and things like that. You being considered a role model, Judge Titus, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's a mantle that I proudly carry because I want people to know that better is available. I want people to know that education can change your life. And I always say we might be one mentor away from our destiny in life. It's nothing for me to have children come into my chambers and sit down and look around just so they can have that in their experience. They have so many other experiences. Why not give them a positive experience? I'm always speaking life and positivity into others. There's so many other people doing the negative. I don't have to contribute to the negative.
Come on now. That's right, Judge Titus. And because, I mean, now, who were some of your mentors growing up? Like you're a mentor to so many now, but who were your mentors coming? Who helped, create this Judge Titus we love and respect today?
Right. Well, of course, my mother was just a fantastic mother. But she was a member, over 50-year member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So as I was growing up, I was just surrounded by all of these outstanding women. And as soon as I was able to join the sorority, I joined the sorority. And so those are the types of people she surrounded herself with. And then as I went into the legal profession, I mean, in the 11th grade, I did Girls' Day in Government in the 11th grade. And one of the administrators at the school said, oh, there's a Black female judge who is one of the people you could be with on Girls' Day in Government. Why don't you go with her? I had no idea I was going to be a judge. I'm not even sure if I knew I wanted to be a lawyer at that point. But look at God giving me a snapshot of my future. And almost 25 years to the day, I was sworn in as a judge, took my oath of office because I had this experience as an 11th grader. And then maybe my second, so it's Justice Vano-Spencer. And then 2 years in the DA's office, I was sent downtown to do felonies, and I was put in the courtroom of Justice Candace Cooper, who happens to be a member of my sorority. And again, somebody of excellence. At that time, I didn't know I wanted to be a judge, but I got to see a Black female judge who just operated in excellence. And then she was elevated to the Court of Appeal again. And then just with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away when I was a lawyer on the National Bar Association board. Our president in 1995 was from Washington, D.C. So the U.S. Supreme Court had a reception for us, and I got a chance to meet her and take a photo with her, as well as Sandra Day O'Connor. And so I put that photo up on my social media. But I didn't know in 1995 that I would be running for a judge, but Justice Spencer, Justice Cooper, Justice Bader Ginsburg, just the experience with her put it somewhere in the back of my mind. And so once I was working in the criminal justice system as a deputy DA, I'm like, I could do that.
That's right. I just want to counterpoint that.
Yes. No, when I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
You know what, Judge Titus, what you've just given us there, that's what it's all about. You know, you so beautifully stated how at a young age you were inspired by one of your teachers, and that word that planted that seed. Yes, I can do this. You know, and you grew into it. You persevered. You dedicated. You had the support of your mother, and then the sisters outside. You know, and then your wonderful sister Helena. I mean, much respect to Helena as well. But that just goes to show what we started this with. That planting that seed of positivity is priceless, especially to our young people. Would you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? I know on a daily basis, what's interesting to me and to so many of us, in your seat, literally that you sit on a daily basis, you hear both sides of a situation. And you also just told us now about how you try to give respect to both sides of a situation. And I know myself and so many of us here also, there's no way we can even begin to understand the level of responsibility that's on your shoulder each time you sit down and present it with a situation of both sides. But when it comes to, I want to move into the domestic violence subject. When it comes into that and you have a situation in your court that you see both sides, Judge Titus, is there a thread that you see that follows each situation or of the topic of domestic violence that's relative to each situation, whether it's positive or negative?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say I see a thread, but I think sometimes in relationship, if you're going to be in relationship with someone, then you should be trying to do what you can so that the relationship can thrive.
Yeah.
Can thrive.
Right.
Frequently, I'll get the petitioner come in and say they turn into an ogre when they drink.
Mm-hmm.
And this last time, you know, they busted my lip, broke this stuff, broke my phone, all this kind of stuff, right? And so then the other side will say, well, I don't drink that much. And yeah, there's one incident, but I don't drink that much. And so then I asked them, well, has, you know, the petitioner ever brought it to your attention that your drinking is causing a problem for her and the family? And then they 99.9% say yes. So I'm like, why do you have to wait till the person brings you to court when they tell you your drinking's a problem and you want to keep your family or your family unit together? If it's a problem, make the adjustment because you want to keep your family together. So a lot of times the issues have been brought up and now we're in court. And I'm like, why do you have to wait till you get to the level of coming to court? Address it the first time so you guys can move on and live the lives you envision for yourselves and your family.
Get that. So in you're giving advice as well. There's a thing of giving advice on certain ways. You know, like I said, I cannot fathom the details of what it would cover for, but just from the outside looking in, you know, and that's what we're really doing today with powerful episodes like this with Dr. Brown with the COVID, and you today with the domestic violence. For us, the Positivity Posse listening, it's a time for us to sit back and learn.
Yeah, because it's the same thing on the other side. Let's say several child custody issues where the parties aren't married, but some of the behavior from the father's side is because the mother hasn't let him see the kids for whatever the reason is. Right. But my thing is, you know, you get one time. You get one time when I've asked to see the kid or we've made arrangement, you don't let me see the kid, then I'm gonna go to court and get some orders. You know what, I don't understand. Why do you know, go 25 times and they haven't let you see the kid, and then you get drunk and come at 2 a.m. bamming on the door and you want to see an infant who's been asleep.
Gotcha.
So why get to that drama? If you can't work it out, you don't have family members that assist you, then just go to court and get some papers. And that eliminates having restraining orders or, having the police get involved.
Yeah. And Judge Titus, do you see, I know, please clarify for us, because like I mentioned, we're here to learn as well. Is there, I know a lot of people, and I have to admit that a period of my life, I was one of the ones that needed to be re-educated again, that when we talk about domestic violence, it's more than physical abuse, right? I mean,
Right.
Break that down. What does that, please, if you could educate us on the definition of domestic violence and what that entails for our listeners.
Yeah, it's very, very broad, and I will refer to a section in my book that actually has the definition, DV defined, page 42. Domestic violence is defined when your current or former spouse, current or former dating partner, someone with whom you have a child, or someone you live with or used to live with, or your grandparent, parent, sibling, or your current in-law does one or more of the following: causes or attempts to cause you physical harm, sexually assaults or attempts to sexually assault you, makes you fear that someone close to you is in danger of serious immediate injury, actually or attempts to molest, attack, strike, batter, stalk, or use physical force against you, threatens or harasses you in person or via phone calls, email, text messages, social media, the internet, etc., destroys or damages your personal property, which is usually the cell phone, harms or threatens to harm your pet, unreasonably disturbs your peace, and willfully intimidates you. So that's a very broad definition.
Broad and powerful. And I'm seeing some of the people, some of the comments that you see later, they're saying, wow. One person says, I didn't know all of that. That's that's the positiveness of education that's given to us now. And what inspired you to write this book specifically? Why this book?
Well, I believe in celebrating milestones, and it's a milestone to be on the bench for 20 years. So as I was approaching that anniversary date, I just said, I need to give back. What can I do? How can I share information that I have? Because I spent 15 years as a DA, and I was in the family violence division. And then being a judge, I'm still dealing with the same kind of case. I'm like, I have a wealth of information, but I didn't want to do a book for the people who are abused or a book for the people who are abusers. I just thought, let me go somewhere in the middle. And this idea came up, what the friends can do. And I think it also happened, I saw an episode of Oprah. It was an old episode where this one woman was recounting how long she had been in an abusive relationship, even to the point where her husband was having their child videotape the husband abusing the wife. That's how bad it had gotten. But a friend
Yes.
was there at some point and was able to capture some of the abuse. So when the wife finally put her foot down and sought help, it was the friend's evidence that convicted him, because he had deleted all the other stuff that had been going on. So that stayed in my back of my mind. So I just thought, friends can be helpful. Friends can be helpful.
That's that positive hope. That's that hope that we're open to surround ourselves or be open to friends or family and friends who try to give us those details that you so perfectly put out in this book. Because and the way that you explained it, which I'm seeing once again, is somebody just said, I had these same things happen to me. Thank you for putting it out there. And this is what I'm talking about. The positiveness, everybody, and I'm talking to the positivity posse now. The first thing when we hear a topic like COVID-19, or we hear a topic like racism, we hear a topic like domestic violence, the power of negativity is so strong that the immediate goes to us to say, that's it. What are we talking about this for? And immediately negativity has won. Negativity is powerful. It will blow your mind and it will change your mind. But when we have people on like Judge Titus, like Dr. Brown, who can take that topic that makes us cringe, that gives us those reality checks in a lot of ways. Come on, y'all. That's a positiveness, because then it reiterates those things we grew up with that grandmama used to say, if you know better, you're going to do better. You dig?
Right, exactly.
So that's why it's important.
Right, and especially here in October. Everyone knows October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You probably have gotten all your pink stuff out. You go out, stand outside your door, you'll see pink. But October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. One in eight women will experience breast cancer, but 1 in 4 women,
wow.
1 in 3 women will become victims of domestic violence. And it is the number 2 cause of death for Black women between the ages of 16 and 35.
Yeah.
And so we must talk about it. And if you think back, when breast cancer first really started to be talking about it, was maybe about 40 years ago. It was met with secrecy, shame, you were shunned. And now, I mean, women don't wear wigs, they just go bald. They don't even get their breasts rebuilt. They let people know about it. It's not a secret anymore, but that came from being fully funded and fully talked about in a 40-year period. So my goal is to have domestic violence. We're in a social upheaval right now. Everything's coming about. Everything's being talked about. Basically, like everything's being thrown up against the wall because society wants to change. But let's change our hiding domestic violence. Let's put it out there so that we can change this. It's obscene that Black women is the number cause for our younger Black. It's obscene, and we need to do something about it, just like we need to do something about all the pandemics that we're in. Well, domestic violence is the 4th pandemic in the Black community. You talked about COVID, you talked about institutional racism. The National Bar Association also talks about police brutality, voter suppression, and the fight for voter protection. Yes. Let's add domestic violence right up there because it's killing us. And it needs to stop.
Come on. Hey, y'all heard it, y'all. And you know what, Judge Titus, that piggybacks exactly, you're right, because we mentioned Dr. Brown and talking about the cringe, I call them cringe topics of COVID-19. And then when we had Dr. Jean Wright and Dave and Marla Thomas came on our mental health episode that we do at the last Sunday of every month. And we talk about mental health awareness. That's another cringe topic that needs the beauty of the exposure of the reality in education is what you're giving us today with the domestic violence, because I believe a lot of us are learning that it's not just the physical abuse, but we're talking about mental, emotional, verbal, and on that needs to be addressed. Would you agree? I mean, is that kind of what you're seeing in another? It's the whole board of it.
Right, and the courts can help. The courts can help. I mean, thank God we live in a state that offers restraining orders.
Yeah.
They don't have to tolerate that behavior against you. You can go to court and get an order that keeps the person away from you. And then if they violate the order, then they can be arrested and have a criminal case filed against them. And then there are a lot more things that can be done in the criminal context to protect you. But definitely, I don't know if every state has a restraining order. Every country certainly doesn't have a restraining order, and we're working to try to help some of the other countries adopt this in their arsenal to fight gender-based violence. But in California, you can get a restraining order, and it can include a kick-out order where the person has to leave the residence where you are. And it's 3 weeks, typically 3 weeks from the time you file, if your temporary restraining order is approved, to the hearing and stuff. And we're still fully in session, even though our courts contracted some of its services as the pandemic started to where we are now. The restraining order court remained fully open because of the importance of this matter. And so it's considered an essential court service that we offer for the restraining order applications and hearings. And right now we've gone virtual. So you could call in and be on the phone, or you can be on the internet. You still come to the courtroom. We social distance, but we're making it easier. You can email your application. I mean, it's still available in all the various formats.
Oh my goodness. And y'all see me smiling. First of all, I love to smile, but you see me smiling while Judge Titus is giving us that, because how positive is that, you all? Being able, with all that's going on, if you have a situation that you need to deal with, or you're tired of dealing with, the advice was just given. That education was just given. Courts are still there to help. It's still there. That's a positiveness. The door is not totally closed. And you know what it reminds me too, in the preface of your book, you break down the power of friendship and how special having that friend in your life during the times that you need someone, where you feel like, I unfortunately, I've been, through my life, I've had family members or friends who have dealt directly with domestic violence on a number of the different scenarios, not just physical, but some of the others. And I specifically remember a couple of them saying about the loneliness they describe, the feeling that there's no one who will understand, or that the abuser's tactics are actually working. They are pulling away from loved ones or friendships. So, your preference, you start your book with a positive presentation of domestic violence. Friendship is powerful, isn't it, Judge Titus? Especially with this.
Very, very much so. And I start each chapter in my book with a scripture about friendship. And the Bible has so many scriptures about friends and friendship and the importance of friendship. So that's the cue that I took, so that people will know. I mean, in our society, sometimes friendship is just adding a like or a click or following someone. That's not really a friend.
Wait, break that down again. I like that one. That's right. Please give us a little more depth for that one. What do you mean?
Right, and that is a definition of friend. That's a new definition, but what we're talking about in this book is being a friend for life, to the point where you might inconvenience yourself to assist your loved one who's experienced domestic violence, whether it's downloading the application for them, or going to the court hearing with them, or arranging for them to have a place to stay, maybe not with you, because the abuser might know about you, but you have a friend the abuser doesn't know. And if your loved one needs a place just to have a period of separation, maybe you can ask your friend to extend themselves. That's the type of friend we're talking about. There was a scripture in the Bible when Paul was preaching, and then the town got mad at him, and they said they had 4 friends, rope holders, lower him down the city wall in a basket. Well, those friends putting their lives on the line, because they could have gotten caught trying to help Paul escape, but they didn't, because it was God's plan. But 4 friends had to inconvenience themselves. It was at the crack of dawn or in the middle of the night in order to do that. So they lost some sleep and had to find the basket. Maybe their hands got damaged while they were trying to hold a grown man in the basket, trying to lower him down. I'm just saying, sometimes it costs us something, but the difference can be life and death. Hence, friends for life. Your assistance or not allowing the bridge to be burned could mean the difference between life and death for somebody.
Right on. Hey, have you been able, Judge Titus, to to see the positive aftermaths of some of your situations that have, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes the family is not breaking up. Sometimes the abuse isn't to the level where the family is going to break up, but the family needs the behavior to stop. So let's say maybe half the time, the abuser has to complete a 1-year domestic violence batterers treatment counseling. For the ones who have completed the course and their families didn't break up, I didn't have one person say it was a waste of time. And they all reported that their relationships were much better after completing that course. That's heartwarming because we don't dictate whether the family breaks up or not. That's, totally their decision. But what we can do is get some information and alternate ways of behaving. Sometimes people have grown up in abusive households, so they associate that behavior with love, and they just keep it going generation to generation. And it's only until you get different information or you're brought from the justice system, you're forced to get different information that they can start a different track.
Yes, there you go. And Judge Titus, somebody just put up there, why is it so hard, Evangeline, why is it so hard for some victims to realize what's really going on? Or is it the fact that that's the way the question was given? Why is it so hard for some of the victims to understand what's really going on? That's the preference, the question you gave.
Yeah, every relationship is different. And so the question really should be, why is the abuser abusive?
Gotcha.
That's where the focus should be. What's going on in their life that they feel that they have to abuse someone's mother of their children, or the person they say they love. But everyone is different, and we just don't even address that. What we try to do is give information so that the people can know they have options and just decide what they're going to do. I have a friend that's been married over 30 years, and she attended a presentation I did in June, and she's kind of like, wow, I'm in a domestic violence relationship. It didn't involve physical abuse, but the verbal abuse was just astronomical. But you have to come to your own conclusion. So she made some hard decisions, but included having herself get personal counseling so she could understand why she would allow herself to be in a verbally abusive relationship for 30 years. When she was growing up, she was the only girl in her family, and her brothers and her father called her and treated her princess. He didn't even call her by her first name. It was just princess, princess, princess. And so to go from that to, where you're called everything but princess for 30 years. And so, but I'm just supportive. Because that's a journey she alone has to take. So instead of asking that question, we just want to be supportive and get information to them, because everyone is different. The studies say that sometimes it takes up to 8 times for the person being abused to leave. And again, if you grew up in that environment, you don't necessarily know that something is wrong, because that's how everyone in your family operates.
Okay. Gotcha. See, now that's another point this is the beauty of this education, because from the outside looking in, it's like, I love the way that you break down the importance of being that friend, as being able to communicate, a way for the victim to get out of, to just know that friend is there, And so right. It's like when you just mentioned that you, as a friend looking in, sometimes we may not know that this is the only life that our friend has known. Like you mentioned, that they grew up in a certain way, or grew up in an environment that it's just been that way, that the arguments, the anger, or the what have you. And being a friend is probably the most important component, I believe, from the outside looking in. And that's what I truly took away, one of the most important things I took away from this book. And that's why I keep going back to it, because it inspired me so much last night after I put it down. And the way you started with the explanation of friendship. Judge Titus, you're a blessing in so many ways. And I say it from the heart. You are one of the souls that I'm so proud to say that we've been able to have sit here and talk to our positivity posse right after Dr. Brown, right after Dr. Jean and Dave and Marla, and now you, Judge Titus. I can't thank you enough. And when you go back and see these comments, you'll see what I'm talking about. You've touched so many here today, like you do on a daily basis. And I just want to know one more thing. In this COVID time, what is your positive message to the world, especially to our families right now? There's a lot of stress. It's a different time. Maybe domestic violence has maybe even kicked up a notch. That would be a good point to know as well. But during this time of the unrest out here, the COVID, what is your message to the family right now specifically?
Well, my message is help is available. Okay. And if not now, when?
Yes.
You know, pandemic, we're in the pandemic. And, you know, unless things change, things won't change.
That's right. That's right.
You know, help is available. And the courts always stand ready to help, especially in this arena of domestic violence restraining orders.
That's right. That's right. Well, Judge Titus, thank you again. It's been an honor. Your honor.
Thank you, and thank you for the positivity.
Oh,
We wear masks in court, so I wouldn't be able to wear this, but on the weekends I can.
Oh, fantastic. Thank
positive. It's all positive. Dr. Brown said, wear the goggles, the mask, the gloves, and now I have a shield to wear tomorrow on the bench.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Right on,
Thank you
Judge.
very much.
Right on. Well, Judge Titus, once again, where can we in the Positivity Posse follow you? Where can we buy the book? Where can we support your positivity of domestic violence?
Thank you. My book's available on Amazon.com in the ebook format. And then if you want to order an actual book, you go to my website, judgetitus.com.
Okay.
Judgetitus.com. And then I'm on social media at Judge Titus on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, and we give special thanks to the Women's League in Rio de Janeiro right now. I believe it's about 15 professional women who are hearing this broadcast right now through interpretation. And
awesome.
Yes, so let's want to do our part to just spread it everywhere we can, sprinkle it on everybody, just like you did for us today. And shout out to your Sisters of Delta as well.
Yes. and the Links Incorporated.
Say that again?
And the Links Incorporated. I just became a link earlier last month, about 3 weeks ago.
Go ahead. And it continues. It just, it just goes as you well deserve. Thank you again. Much love and much respect. And I'd love for you to come back and give us more updates when I know you're super busy, but when time would allow, we'd love for you to come back.
All right, thank you so much. Domestic Violence Awareness Month, help is available.
That's right, that's right. Y'all heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Help is available. And the incredible, powerful, soulful woman you just saw on screen with us, Judge Titus. My mind is going with so many positive branches here from this conversation. And the primary is, once again, we were able to receive a conversation of help, a conversation that has given us tools to move on, that's opened hopefully some doors mentally and emotionally for some of us who may be dealing with domestic violence situations, you know, on a daily basis, that has opened up some doors that we're not alone, that it is hope. There is a positive hope, even in these times that we see on or feel on a day-to-day basis, that there's nobody here to understand this but me. I'm in this by myself. My family doesn't understand. My friends, I don't want to bother them. Hey, y'all, no. There's a friend there waiting. There's a family member there waiting. And there's no judgment. Nah, none at all. There's love. And as the Honorable Judge Titus just gave us today, we, as I always love to say, she reiterated it in a beautiful way. We've got to keep that gate open, y'all. It's about keeping the gate open, because when that gate locks, nobody gets in, nobody gets out. That communication gate, as Judge Titus mentioned today, even in domestic violence situations, is paramount. I want to give a special shout happy birthday to my big brother, Clifton Davis. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday, big bro. You know, because of this COVID, you know, we usually try to see each other somehow during the week or the couple of weeks around your birthday. You know, but you know the love is there. The whole clan is sending it right to you, man. And we have nothing but love and respect for you, Cliff. Happy birthday, big bro. Ladies and gentlemen of the Positivity Posse, we thank you today. We love you. And there's no way that my producers, Christopher Brooks, Julie McKnight, and the incredible Wendy Vaughn, there's no way that we could walk away at the end of these episodes and feel the feeling of being fed positively if it was not for you. You join us, and we're able to feed off of each other and just help each other out. That's all we're trying to do. And like I say, we're not CNN, we're not the big networks, you know, God bless them, but we're doing what we can in our small way to just bring it back to you and remind you that there's always something to smile about. Even in those times when we don't feel like it, never forget, it's always something to smile about. So next Sunday, join us here for the Queen Melba Moore, who will be with us to give her journey, her story once again. From her, she did her interview a couple of months ago, her first one, but she's coming back, y'all. And she's gonna hit it to us again and let us know about this new single that's blowing up everywhere, Just Doing Me. I love Melba Moore so much. And we have so much respect. And then after that, we have Blanche Paul, the widow of Billy Paul, who's going to come and share the journey of them as a couple and her as one of the premier wives and women of soul history, that's going to come give her story as well. Wanda Vaughn and the Emotions, thank you once again for always being there, big sis, and sharing your watch parties with us. We love you so much eternally. Come back next Sunday at 1:00 p.m. and get some of this positivity on you, y'all. Take a bath in it. Take a shower in it. Scuba dive in it. If you want to just get up and skinny dip in it, do that. But when you come out, sprinkle it on as many people as you can, because that's what it's all about. I love your Positivity Posse, and we'll see you next time on The Victor Brooks Show.